Welcome back, guys, to another video. It's been years since I've done one. I think it's been like 2 years since I did my last video, year and a half. I did make another video a few months back and I forgot to save them, so I've actually deleted them, so never mind. But today's video is we're kicking it off with WheelFinesse. So I've been wanting this for about 9 months now, and I finally ordered it, and it came really quick. I mean, it is shipped from China. It actually got quicker into England than it did from England depot to my house because of the Royal Mail delays, but who cares? It took about 2 weeks, 10-12 days, something like that, so not the end of the world, to be fair. I got a discount code, so this was 130 quid, custom made, but yeah, about 138, 140 pounds, something like that, maybe a little bit more. So I mean, inside it's really well packaged. So when you get the package, it looks really nice. You open it up and you're greeted with a little custom message there, and this is all your instructions in here. I've already muddled about in this, but it basically tells you sort of step by step how to follow the instructions. Now, they're not the clearest sort of instructions, so I'm going to do my best to try and make my way around this, but I think we should be fine. Obviously, get your kit with all the installation tools that you need there. So that's your sort of prying tool. You've got your needle, you've got your thread, and 3M tape as well, which you're going to need to stick the steering wheel down. Little goodie, car air freshener, which is always nice, so appreciate that. WheelFinesse, thank you. This doesn't come with it, but I would recommend you buy one, because apparently you're meant to burn off the end of the thread once you've installed it onto the wheel. So you sort of burn off the thread, whatever it is, and then stick it down, and the heat will allow you to sort of taper it down and it won't come off then. So that's why that is there. So just a standard little lighter. And then the last thing itself, you've got this. So I'm gonna put the camera back up and let you guys see it whilst holding the camera from a different angle. So the actual product itself looks really well done, actually. I mean, 130 quid. It's a cheap little way to reskin your steering wheel in a custom layout. So for me, obviously, to go with my car, I've got a white racing strap at the top, white stitching. I've opted for the Alcantara top and bottom sections of the steering wheel, and then I've got the premium perforated leather, which sort of goes on the sides. So I mean, the quality of the thing is pretty nice, I'm going to be honest. And inside, this is a new thing that they've done a warranty. So this sticker inside, do not take that off, because that is your warranty in there. So make sure you install it with it on, otherwise your warranty's out. I mean, I don't understand that. Your warranty should be there anyway, but anyway. So yeah, I'm going to try and stick this on, see how we get on, and follow the instructions and give you a little play-by-play of how I'm managing with it. If I muck it up, then I'm going to just pay one of their fitters to come and do it. I think it's about 30 quid or 40 quid or something like that. There is a couple of weeks wait, I think, to get them in, but I might have to just do that if I muck it up. So we'll see how it goes. So I've just sort of put it on roughly. It's pretty tight, which is a good thing. So it's at least going to hold right. I have put my knees against it at the bottom and then try to pull it out at the sides up here and here to sort of install it, because it is quite tight. So I'm sort of just gauging the fit of it, and then I'm going to use the 3M tape that's within the kit, obviously inside there, to just apply a roll there, and as I work my way down, I think I might put some on here too, just so it sticks and holds in the way, and on the other side and maybe at the bottom. You don't have to use the 3M tape, but from what I've been told and what I've seen of the previous steering wheels, fat bits and all that, it's probably the best way to go. But the fact that it's nice and tight is good, because it makes it seem like it's gonna hold quite well when it's nipped together, and it's gonna have less material that's gonna be loose. So I think this is a revised product from what they've done before. So it should be, all the little kinks, literal kinks that you might get in the corners, should be ironed out. From what I've seen, their expert fitters can fit it bang on, but obviously me not being an expert fitter on pretty much anything, I just do it as I go along. I might mess it up a little bit, but we'll see. So guys, I've had a go at it so far. I've took these in. That looks nice. That still needs to be finished on the other side. These I've done as instructed. They're not all the way finished yet, but it is, I'm not going to lie, it's absolutely awful to work on. And I sort of did this trying to tuck it in, which is okay because I messaged them and I said most of this will be, all this will be tucked in anyway, as it needs to be tightly done around, so most of that's going to be tucked under, which is fine, but I'm just going to pay for the fitter to do it. Honestly, it's just one of those things where I don't want to mess it up. Now, as it looks itself, it's going to look awesome when it's on. The feel of it's awesome. Really good leather, really nice and grip, especially the Alcantara looks super durable. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a fitter booked in and get them to fit it, and then I will give you the after and before sort of clips. What's up guys, we are back. It's been a few days since, in fact it's probably been a week now, and I've ended up getting somebody to fit it. Now the guy that fit it, he fit me in as soon as he could. He goes all over UK in a pattern and travels all the way to Ireland and whatever, and he's the guy that does the Trim My Car steering wheel covers. They are slightly different to the WheelFinesse, but he was happy enough to come around and fit the bits that obviously I couldn't do in terms of where I've ripped it. Now as far as his services are, he was very quick in responding. He was very happy to fit me in between his schedule. He already had about 20-30 different people booked in over the next week throughout the entire United Kingdom, so he sort of fit me in on the day that he's travelling up from Coventry. He fit everything spot on. Now I'll show you. So the actual threading and how tight everything is and how well everything is put on, it's fantastic. That's no problem with that at all. And the service that it provided, being last minute at a moment's notice, was great. However, the steering wheel center point wasn't quite in the center. It was quite far out. Now I've had a look at WheelFinesse, how they fit theirs. I've had a look at a lot of people, how they fit their own, and how other fitters fit their own brand steering wheels, and you are never, it's very rare that the steering wheel center point is exactly in the middle, right? So it's always going to be a slight left to right sort of cockeyed through the center of the steering wheel. Now a tiny fraction, a millimeter and a half, I really don't mind. I measured mine because I'm really anal about this stuff. It's about 1.3 out of alignment, which is fine for me. I'm happy with that. But the way that he fitted it, it was about 3.5 mil out. Now I was in between work and I accepted the job as it was, and I said yeah, I'm happy with it because I just needed to get on with my work, as I am a physio and I work day to day, client on client basis. Now as I said, everything that he did, Ali from Trim My Car on Instagram, was spot on, besides the fact that it was out of alignment. I paid him 100 quid to fit it. That's including a massive air freshener can, one of these which he threw in. Now these are really good. They smell amazing. Cloud bursts, I know he sells them cheaper than they actually are, and he sort of looks after you with this sort of stuff when he's done the service for you. Now for 100 quid, I'd have expected, everything is perfect besides the fact that the steering wheel wasn't centre, so I can't help but feel like I've been slightly ripped off there, but I wanted it on so I could do the review. I didn't want to mess about with tucking things underneath at the different button locations like I did before, as I ripped it, as you guys have seen. So I was happy to pay an amount for that doing. Now what I had to do, and I'll explain this now. So as far as the central fitment of the steering wheel, I'm happy with that. I think it's come out really well. And the only thing I had to say about Ali's fitment from Trim My Car is that this center line was skewed with to there. Now that, in terms of center, is way too far out. So I spoke to the guys that make these at WheelFinesse, the guy itself that owns the company and started this business, and he said that all I have to do is basically undo the threads at the edges and basically work it back, pull this across. Now I did that, but I didn't want to faff about with the edges again, because obviously we know what happened last time when I ended up tearing a piece around the buttons. So what I did do instead was undo it there and loop it through, and then pull this across and then restitch it. Now I'm going to tell you about this product now, good quality actually is, and the finish of it, which is fantastic. But let me just tell you the quick negative about it. The actual pre-threaded loops, which you thread it through and zigzag, were once they were used and tightened and then loosened off, even though I was really gentle, I didn't even end up tightening it yet, they actually snapped. So I had to improvise on this part here, this 2.5 inch section there, because I thought it was game over, but it's not. So what I did was I actually used the thread, and I don't know if you can see if the camera focuses, it's close enough. What I had to do was actually thread the thread where it started to go wrong there, through the holes themselves individually that the little pre-stitch loops were in, and then it caught up here, and then we went all the way around properly, as that side there was perfectly fine. Okay, you can see there the job's been absolutely perfect, completely done properly. Now, for those wondering if this is safe, yes it is. I tried to twist this, there's no movement in it. I've really tried hard. I've tried to see if I can pull it from left and right. Everything's on properly. I've tried to scratch everything away to make sure the steering wheel is put on well, and we're all good. It's been on over a week now, so I'm happy with that. Besides that scuffle, let me tell you about the positives about this wheel. Now, 130 quid or 140 quid, depends what discount code you use or whatever you've got, I think is a really nice way to improve some interior quality of the car. I think it looks really well with the car, and the designer opted for Alcantara at top with the leather white stripe, white stitching obviously, and the perforated leather on the sides. Now the Alcantara I would recommend more, purely because of the fact that the suede isn't as hard wearing as the Alcantara, and also in the summer you have sweaty palms, so it absorbs a lot of stuff. The Alcantara doesn't, it's not as absorbent, so it does last longer than suede does. The perforated leather as well, I mean, you can see on the camera the quality and the detail and the finish of the perforated leather is really nice. So the product itself and the materials used are top notch, not a problem at all. In terms of recommending this product for your average Joe, or somebody that's never done anything like this before, or hasn't got a lot of money to waste just in case it goes wrong, like mine almost did, and I couldn't quite salvage it because the bit that's imperfect, you see underneath the steering wheel, you don't see it. I've tried to look at it through various different angles, you just don't see it, so I'm happy with it as it is. Out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, as good as this product is for the value, and as lovely as it looks and how well it spruces up the interior, which it does 100%, everybody that I've posted it, when I've posted it on my Instagram and social media, said how nice it actually looked. So the feel and the look and the materials are fantastic. I would recommend, but I wouldn't recommend it for somebody that isn't confident in doing these particular sort of upholstery adjustments or stitching, etc., because as easy as they make it, WheelFinesse, it's not user friendly. It really isn't, and I would really advise that you have one of their fitters fit it. I would have opted for them to fit it, however, the guys that I wanted to fit it, one stopped doing it in West Yorkshire, I'm in South Yorkshire in Barnsley, and the other one that's nearest to me, which is in Nottinghamshire, he's moved down to Luton, so there's nobody within 3.5 hours of me, so it was easier for me to just pay somebody to come here and do it, despite the fact it cost an arm and a leg. But I'm glad it's on now. I'm glad I did it because I needed to do the review on it, and I've wanted this. I've been humming and ahhing about this steering wheel cover for about a year now, so even longer, so I've kind of rewarded myself a little bit, having patiently waited for it. Now, the last thing I will say about it, these instructions are not very clear at all. I would follow the step-by-step video guide that they show you on wheelfinesse.com if you look at how they fit it, or Instagram message them. The gentleman that I spoke to that runs the business, he will message you with the video to show you how to stitch it. Again, it's still a bit vague, but it gives you much more detail on how to do it properly. These instructions are not worded in the way that it's done in the video at all. The way that it says is to basically go through the first loop where you start, go through it and do it 3 times through the same pre-stitch loops, and then miss one at a time. Now, this is not the way that it's been stitched. This is not the way that it looks stitched on when they do it on the video through WheelFinesse. And the way that it's actually done is you stitch the first loop 1, 2, 3, and then you start missing one loop at a time while you go across. So, if that makes sense. So you don't stitch through every loop. Now, I did because I like it nice and tight, and to be fair, they call it an OEM finish, but realistically I'd rather have it stitched through every loop like Ali's done it, and it's been done properly and it looks fine and it's safe and it's not going to come off. So that's what I would say the first thing. The second thing in fitment is, before you even start it, this needs to be tucked under first before you even start stitching. I didn't know that, it doesn't mention that anywhere on these instructions. I would always fit this and tuck it underneath the trim first, and these before you start stitching it. With that said, make sure that this is put on central as well. Make sure you use plenty of tape at the top, which I've done this second time around, so it sticks as you tighten it. I also used double-sided tape through the inside of the threads, so when it pulls in it squishes and it tightly holds onto it. So that's how I've done mine, or adjusted mine from the fitting, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. So anybody wanting this, like I said, I've done as much of an honest review as I can. This isn't sponsored or anything. I did pay for the steering wheel properly. I do think it's a great product. The materials are great. I just don't think it's very user friendly, and I would definitely advise somebody that knows how to fit them would do it. And last thing before I'm signing off, remember, the center stripe will never be 100% straight. I have looked at 50 odd images and none of them are straight. Good night.